Hi folks, so here's the situation. I replaced or installed this flooring about 1.5 years ago. I thought I did a really good job with the sealing and installation of the wax seal. But after caulking got dirty, I replaced it with silicone caulking and it browned. I removed some parts of it and I'll tell you why. So it browned and stained, and I thought that's odd. Plus the bathroom doesn't smell as good and as fresh as it did, so I suspected it was leaking. And then pushing back and forth on the toilet, I could see some like moisture show up. So I did a test, and sure enough, there's a leak under the toilet. I'm dreading what it could be and how bad the damage is. So I did a couple of tests. One of them is I removed caulking and I slid. Oh my gosh, it's already wet. Okay, so you can slide this as far in as you want. You can push the toilet up and slide and do a test to see. I don't think I need to test any further here to show you. I also have a moisture meter, so I turn it on and it's set to wall right now. If you look, 5%, it goes up here, and I feel swelling. Yeah, I feel swelling in here, and that's strange. There we go. Right there. So it goes up. And goes up again here. Let me make sure it's dry actually. Yeah. So we have a bit of a problem. Not everywhere. So obviously what I have to do is remove the toilet. So I prepared the bathroom. The next task I'm going to do is cut off the water, disconnect the plumbing and the two nuts that hold the toilet to the seal or to the ground, and also remove the remainder of the caulking and pull the toilet up. Okay, so mine is a quick shut-off valve. So once you pull it, you definitely want to flush. Okay, I'd already flushed off camera. And once you flush, you need to dump a bunch of water in the toilet. There we go. Magic. So now, get me a towel here. Close the lid, and it's a lot more water than I expected. So I have to get a towel. Okay, so we'll remove these nuts. This is a size 7/16. Looks like it's loose enough to do by hand. So put it out of the way. Put the washers out of the way. Let's see. Here we go. Now, directly after finishing this job, I'm jumping in the shower. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to finish removing the caulking around now. There we go. Just going to use this multi-tool for caulking application, caulking remover, scraping. Love this tool. Let's do the other side. That was too easy. That also means bad news. When you can easily remove the caulking around the toilet. Oh, the toilet just lifted, so I don't need to remove it. I just leaned it against it. Here we go. So I like to leave the area clean, so I'm going to first clean all the debris and then move the toilet. I'm really dreading what I'm going to see underneath. My fear is having to rip the flooring that I installed just 1.5 years ago. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm going to use. It's up to you. I like cleanliness. This is an old baking sheet. Old scrap baking sheet. This is a restaurant size. I'm going to set the toilet on it. And since I'm going to hug the toilet, and I have this just laying around, actually, I was about to throw it away. It's like, oh, wait a minute. It has some use. I'm wrapping it around, but mainly so I can grab the bowl, pull the toilet off. So I'm going to pull up and then away and put it here. Be careful with the tank. Of course, the tank is empty, but still what's holding the tank are 2 bolts. You wiggle it too much, you put a lot of force on the tank, don't carry from the tank, because then you compromise the seal of these 2 bolts and you'll be dealing with leaks and more repairs. If the bolts are old, the seals are old, you may have to replace them anyway. But right now my focus is only on what's causing the leak and fixing the leak. So I grab usually by the neck here and I pull up and away. Okay, let's see. There is a leak for sure, and I am confused, but I'm going to do some more investigation. You can see the, there is water here and here. Here, I don't see anything. I'm pretty confused about what the leak is. I want to scrape everything off and look underneath. It may be underneath. So no solids are leaking. Look at that. So I was pointing towards something that the camera wasn't pointing to. It seems fine around here. There's water leaking here and here. It's kind of going around the rim, but the source is right there. So I'm going to peel slowly after I move the toilet out of the way and look for the cause. Alright, so the toilet's out of the way. I do want it clean here. I don't want to spread germs everywhere, so I'm going to start by cleaning around it. Then I'm going to dry this up and try to figure out, then scrape the wax seal. Now, there's definitely evidence on the wax seal itself that there's something wrong. It's kind of blackened here, moldy a little bit. This is clean, this is not. Alright, so this vinyl flooring was sold as waterproof. As long as water's on the surface, not water's inside of it. Alright, so here we go. Let's reveal what's under this thing. Let's zoom in a little bit and be sure that you'll see what I'm going to see. It's hard to tell. Because this is sealed. This is where the liquids and solids come out of the toilet. Now it's partially blocked. Even if it's sprayed back, this is clean. I honestly have no idea where this is coming from. This is a clear liquid. So if it's dripping here and going back, let's say this was not the source. If it was going back, unless the toilet has a crack or something, but if it did, it should be way bigger than what I was seeing. And all I was seeing was wetness around, as well as, yeah, there's nothing flowing. And just so you know, one of the things I do when I do seal around the toilet, I do leave an opening in the back. I never left an opening in the front because I like to see complete seal around. I leave an opening in the back, but I think the slope in this bathroom anyway is not to the back. The reason for the opening in the back is because if anything gets trapped inside, I want to wait for it to escape so I can see that there's a leak, there's a problem. The other thing I do is I completely seal around it so it can't go under the flooring or inside the flooring. Nevertheless, these are planks. Vinyl planks. That means it can still find, liquid can still find its way inside and underneath. And my meter was telling me that there's liquid, or there's moisture. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm seeing the source. It's all good. Probably my lack of experience. I'm not able to find the cause. And here's the rubber seal. And I also still can't see the cause. So you can see I seal inside here, I seal here. I use a different color caulk. It's actually silicone. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of research, see if I can find anything useful, but it's not the seal, the wax seal that's sealing. I'm going to have to check the toilet, which means I'm going to have to tilt it, which means the liquid inside is going to spill. So, I'm going to have to drain it in a tub and then check underneath. If I find anything interesting, I'll show you. So that's all good. That's good. Look at this blackness here. That's a bit suspicious around here and here. There's definitely rust. I don't know how long it's been leaking. Let me zoom in and show you. There and there. Okay, I'm going to clean this up. I need to record my cleaning. And then I'm going to prepare to check the toilet. So I sanitized the area. At least that's what the bottle says. Checking again. Kind of consistent with the screw hole here and this one. Oh boy. So 100% goes down to 40% here. And it's only along the seam lines. So this is a seam, this is a seam. Maybe it's only the seam that's dry, wet. I don't know how accurate this thing is. Like, require a little bit of wetness or a lot of wetness, but I'm not taking chances. Let's see. All right. Oh, it's a tight fit. the flooring is a pretty tight fit. And not only this is tongue and groove, and I'm gonna end up damaging it unless I rip the entire flooring, and that's gonna ruin all the cosmetic work I ended up doing. And it honestly does not feel like it was that long ago, but instead I'll start with this thing. Here we go. Let's see. I'm bracing for the worst. No, there is no water. Alright, let's check with the camera. So these guys didn't lie. I see moisture in the seam, in the groove, but inside here it's pretty dry. Alright, so I'll do another check. Okay, so this check is with the best and most trusted moisture check tool, and also the least expensive. A nice paper towel. Actually, this is a 3-fold towel. Nothing, it's just the seam. I don't want to rip this because that means I'll damage the tongue and groove. There'll be more repair. Oh yes, it's only the seams. That means this should dry up on its own. I'm happy. Here you go. That's it. So there's nothing. So my seal work did work, and this indeed was waterproof as they claimed, except of course now I've compromised it. Nevertheless, I'll fill it in with caulk as I bend it back in place, and that is what I'll do. Let's see. Sorry, LED light has a frequency, and you'll be seeing it in the camera, but I do see a shiny reflection in here. Yep. And the water's definitely been going down that channel. Yeah, here it is. That's what's probably producing that stale smell. By the way, even with this hole open, I don't smell anything bad. Alright, so I'll be using a heat gun just to warm things up after I'm done. But I haven't found the source, of course. Alright, let me put this back together. Alright, so after sweating a few buckets of worth of fluids, I managed to get the flooring back. I had to do some gymnastics and lift planks, squeeze together, and I had to trim a little bit of the tongue in order to be able to get it back in. So what I'm going to clean around, reseal. Just so you know, builders don't do that. They don't do any sealing whatsoever. I don't know if contractors seal. I'm not a contractor. But I like to make sure that if there is a leak, that it has nowhere to go. But outside of the toilet. Alright, that worked. Just widened the opening and got the blob out. It's right here. Try to squeeze it in every opening. Yes, I'm going to put a generous amount. And spread it, screw holes, seam. I know the toilet goes down here, so I'm going to actually put on there's no seam here. screw hole. Another screw hole. And another seam. And around here. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. That's it. Pretty it up. Make sure it is tight. And so since this is hidden, I don't care about aesthetics. And I want to put enough force to push it in, but also not compromise the seal. This is 100% silicone. I would definitely trust it more for high moisture areas. Let's see. So that's going to stretch all the way down to here. So I'm going to need a little bit more. Another screw hole. Go around. Okay, I'm making sure that the contact is with this toilet ring and the flooring, and that there are no areas where it can escape from. I'm going to fill this even more. This is for different installations, so definitely it's not needed. Make sure. There we go. Fill this in. Now, the wax, it will cover this anyway, just so you know. And it's, I don't think I've ever seen it leak from there. Leak is usually where the wax breaks, and unfortunately you have liquid start to escape from there. I think that's it. I'm going to just add a little bit more here and spread it with my finger. This is because I compromised the seal. And it reaches here, so I'm going to stop here. That's where the toilet's going to sit. In fact, it's going to sit a little bit over it, so it doesn't matter. I hated ruining my flooring work, but it was necessary. And clean this up. And that's it. So now I'm going to just check the toilet. Now, if I don't find anything with the toilet, I'm going to assume that there was a breach somehow under the wax seal, which is still confusing to me. I don't understand. But before I install it, I'll do the search, as I said, online, and see if I can find anything useful before I continue. Everything else looks good, and the place now smells like silicone. So the other can't smell anything else. I'm going to put the screws back. I do like to put silicone in the screw holes. So now that I have fresh screws installed, I'm going to cover them with silicone. For one, don't want them to rust. They should not rust unless there's moisture there. And I want the hole that I've created to be completely sealed. So then seal around them. Now the purpose of these screws, just so you know, they're holding the planks down because there's nothing else holding them there. I do that when I install flooring. Again, I install it for myself and for my rental property. I will be hammering this back in place and fixing it. I'll be heating it and fixing it in place, but that's going to be after. My main concern right now is getting my toilet back. I don't like to be left without a toilet. I'm sure nobody does. Alright, so once this beauty here dries up, I'll be ready to put the wax seal on. Just so you know, silicone repels water, of course, better than acrylic. It is more expensive. It's not paintable. So if you plan to paint it, forget it. You won't be able to paint it. I have successfully painted silicone before, but I would not advise anybody to try. And it was only, the paint won't last even if you painted it. But I was able to use a spray method and kind of use an adhesion layer first and then a second layer and so on. But if it gets thick enough, it'll also peel back. Nevertheless, it works great for these kinds of purposes, or where you're not going to paint it, so around the toilet. Alright. Alright, so I tilted the toilet, and I really don't see anything suspicious. Nothing cracked. Nothing suspicious at all. Not even mold. Mold's all on the floor. So I'm going to put it back together. I'm not sealing it. I'm not putting any silicone around it for the first couple of months or however long, and see how well it does. And again, LED lighting. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to clean underneath here, make sure I have a good clean surface. Yeah, it's okay. Surface is good here. The surface is good around. Definitely no damage. All right. So it's hard to get underneath because it's a one-man job, and I can't lift this whole thing up high and record. Nevertheless, I think I'm ready for reinstalling this. The silicone caulking has dried up that I used to seal around. Now here's the seal I'm going to be using. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here it is. Of course, you peel the plastic off. Those of you who don't know, these can be found in any home store or home center. And make sure you get the right size. They're universal, but just in case you do have a non-universal size, make sure you get the right one. There are some that are double thickness. This is extra thick. And there are some people who like to double up. I'm not sure what that buys you. In some cases, nothing, like mine. It's very low clearance. In others, if it's the clearance is pretty wide, you will need two. Alright, so we'll peel this off. I hope I don't mess this up. This is the only seal I have. And it's late at night. So this part goes against the toilet. This goes in the hole. And you get one shot. You mess it up, you're going to have to remove it and redo. Now as you tilt, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to it, but let's try. Here we go. So can you show here? Alright, so you put it around it, it's kind of straightforward. Now you're going to have to carry the toilet and get it here, get it aligned and drop. Let's make sure. Before I drop, I'm going to go back and verify I'm doing it correctly. aufschweigen. Alright, so I managed to get it aligned. Wax came out of the holes. Now it'll take a while. You want to apply equal pressure. You want to apply equal pressure here. Don't use a tank. Again, you don't want to mess up the seals, which I'll have to verify after. And kind of just don't wiggle it violently and don't move it violently. Just kind of gently wiggle in place. Remember also, you don't over torque these screws, because the only thing holding these screws is the plastic ring, toilet ring, and you will crack it. If you crack it, it's going to be a major job, which you may or may not be able to do yourself. Now, if your floor is level and everything's installed correctly, including that ring, you won't need to do any spacing here. If it's not, you will. Your seal is okay. Your toilet seat is ready to be tightened down if there's no wiggle. And it looks like mine is sitting on the ground now. So now I'm ready to install these nuts, or the nut and the washer. I'm first going to remove the excess. Is this showing? I'm going to remove the excess wax, and then I'll install the plastic ring, but I'm going to clean it up first. The cap, this is the cap, and the cover. Clean around with some thick paper towels, or the blue paper towels, shop towels, whatever can clean this wax. You may use mineral spirits. I'm going to do that after I'm done. And apply the washer. And then tighten this down. And do the same thing on the other side. Once you're done, then you can connect the water and test for leaks. Alright, so I finished. I tightened this at both sides, and as you can see, that's what it looks like. Okay, so don't over torque these. Gently tighten them and stop when you feel there's sufficient resistance. These are not meant to hold it in case of an earthquake. These are just supposed to gently hold it in place, and make sure you have centered it and that it's pointing towards the right direction. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the water line. Depending on the fitting you have, you may have to change the ferrule, or maybe even the whole line every time you loosen it. So right now I'm using a copper compression fitting, and I'm going to test it once I install it. I'll show you how I test it. I'm going to tighten it off camera, just install it in place and then tighten it. Alright, so I tightened it. Again, even this you don't want to over tighten, okay? Sorry it is dark here. I don't want to hold the flashlight, but as I push this in, immediately feel around. There is no leak. There's no leak here. There's no leak here. Here's your best leak detector. Place toilet paper underneath all areas where it could leak, including the tank, and you monitor this. If you're going to sleep, I recommend turn it off, turn it on the daytime, put the toilet paper and make sure you check. Now if it doesn't leak, after a while you don't feel anything, no drops, then you're good to go. So here we go. Okay, so it looks even on all sides. Now, if your first flush doesn't come out gushing from the bottom, then you have not blocked the sewer line. If you block the sewer line, you're going to see water gushing out of the toilet from pretty much all around. Okay, so I'm going to call it good. I'm going to sanitize the floor, clean everything, and hope that I don't see this moisture again. I'm not sealing around the toilet. In fact, I'm going to shove a paper towel underneath and kind of monitor it for a while. Now, the moisture detector is still detecting water here. It's pretty amazing that thing is detecting a small amount of water, because it was completely dry underneath. I'm going to wait for it to dry up. I'm going to probably put a small fan here. It's right now summer, so the temperature inside here ranges from 72 to 85, 86 on very hot days. Hopefully, with no other source of moisture and water, that this will dry up, and I'll keep testing with the moisture meter. If it drops, then I'm good. But I did test again underneath the tiles. I did not find any water underneath. Alright, so now that everything is cleaned up, and I got my leak detection kit here, I'm going to call it a day. So last bit of advice: if you do see a leak, or you do see moisture or discoloration of your caulking, then remove the caulking. If you're unsure what the cause is, if you think maybe the moisture came from outside, try to check for moisture inside under the toilet without removing it and without tilting it. If you do tilt it, you remove the screws, then you need to remove it and replace that wax ring and clean up everything around it. I'm still unsure what the cause was, and I guess I'll find out. This wasn't clear. The other repairs I had done, two of them, the leaks were very clear. The others were maintenance. You can see the wax busted through, and sometimes that happens if the pipe is blocked and pressure builds up, and it will back out and go through with the wax ring. It's less likely that those things happen, but that's one thing that happens. If you're wondering what this device is, just so you know, this is a bidet. A lot of people after the pandemic learned what the bidet is after the shortage of toilet paper, but no, I've had this installed for a very, very long time. So we'll have to wait and see. Good luck to you if you've had to do this repair, or you have to do this repair. Don't dread it. Yes, you can do it yourself. If there are two people, it's even better and easier, so someone can help you carry the toilet, align it, and drop it, so you don't have to do it twice or compromise the wax seal. Sorry, you have to stare at the toilet the whole time I'm talking, but good luck, take care. If you benefited from this video in any way, shape, or form, please like and subscribe. I do have a lot of home repair videos that the difference between them and professionals is that professionals may use professional tools, may do things that ordinary homeowners are not capable of doing. And so what I try to do is show repairs from a homeowner's perspective, and even using minimal tools or whatever tools are available. Bye.